Well, we are back for some Bleach Soul Resonance, and this is going to be a final little wrap-up video for the celebration at large. I'm going to be talking about Nelliel, talking about my feelings on her, talking about my Jade count, which you can see, we're 2 Jade away from almost having an incredibly aesthetic Jade count, but sadly we missed the mark. If you're wondering how I got to that point since the last time you saw me, since, I just uploaded, I was cleaning up extra missions, so on top of getting a bunch of achievements, yeah, you can see I've fully collected everything here. So 10, 20, 30, 5, 45, 55, and then 70. Those come from doing every bit of the hunts. So we are officially done treasure hunting, finding our spirit cores, and taking pictures. I think of these, the nice thing is that when you're doing the spirit cores, you're also technically doing the actual film, like the photography bits and bobs, because you just go to the area, you do the spirit core. Along the way, you also like run up against the walls, find everything that needs to be taken a picture of, etc., etc. So we have gotten a lot of that finished up here, leading to 50, what is it, 50, 110, 180, 230, 280, and then what is it, 340, something like that, and then a bonus 360 here is 700 in total. So that should be right, because I believe when I started this, I started at 8100 Jade, and I'm now at 8800 Jade, which is a nice number to be in, because if we see here, I have 15 tickets. We're going to be getting a 10 ticket reward the moment the celebration starts. What that means for Mayuri's banner is that 20 tickets paid up front should be enough to put me in range of pitying Mayuri, though I would not be able to grab his weapon in that same session if I did have to go all the way to pity. You can see I have pity primed here, and this isn't taking into account the tickets I'll be getting back from limited gacha ticket exchange, since I do have most, if not all, SRs and the like duped. So when Mayuri drops, if we do decide to pull, it shouldn't be too painful. It shouldn't be too painful a pull effort. Like I said, this is gonna be the last bit of content we do before the actual pulls happen. It should be going up on the 12th, so this is largely going to be a bit of a recap video. But here's my account as it stands. We've got Nelliel at 4,400, or 44,000, I should say. Kenpachi at 38,000. Yoruichi at 44,000, though she is far worse than my Nelliel, and this comes primarily from having things like Ascension 2 weapon and Ascension Stage 5 core stamp. I say this all the time. If you really want to get big inflated power values, farm those core stamps. So you can see my Nelliel's core stamp is at 3 right now, and you might be wondering, like, well, why'd you go with Nelliel specifically? The only real reason is because during the event period, we had that pity system on the stamps, and I figured what better time really than now to just send it, I guess. Like, why not just send it on the stamp there, right? So as we go back in here, we see we've got 35,000 on Gin Ichimaru, 34,000 on Aizen, who I haven't really changed since I built him. I will say he's been a character who has mostly remained the same. If I could change him at all, I would probably farm a slot 1 piece to give him a little more crit rate, because crit rate on his slot 1 is probably the primary thing I'm missing. We can see that we have 25% crit rate on his weapon, and we have 56% crit rate in total, so 32%, 39% here, and then the 25 puts me at around 56.2, right? So I would like a little more crit rate on him. That'd be nice. That'd be a nice little number to get to. Actually, I wonder, yeah, it should be the total. Okay, we did upgrade Yorahara yesterday with, or as of that last video, going up with this crit damage piece, which is crazy. I did say that raising a character like Yorahara, raising a character like Mayuri probably is going to be very gear light, It's one of the reasons I do suggest putting some attention into a character like Mayuri, making sure that if you have the means to, you don't really want to miss out on supports in these games. I've said since the dawn of the game, since the very start, I've maintained and I've said, hey, do not miss out on the support characters. The support characters will rule your account. And would you like clockwork, Sosuke Aizen and Nelliel are, to me, the single strongest characters in the game by a wide margin. It's not even close. And behind that is a free-to-play character, Yudahara, right? So it holds true, right? You can even see this phenomenon sort of take root in characters like Rangiku and Momo, as well as Yachiru, who I am very high on, even if you compare them to characters like Ikaku and Komomura. To me, right? I think those characters are super good. So the supports ultimately do rule the roost. Beyond that, I am still just packing up and saving a bunch of materials. A lot of people, like I said, were kind of they were sad that the towers didn't return, but I'm ending this at 456 imaginary fragments, 10 spiritual power nourishers, and more stamina than I know what to do with. So I don't know, right? Like, did we really miss out on the rewards? I mean, if they're going to pepper out the rewards, then limited time trial always showing up isn't that big of a deal to me, if we're super duper honest. Did I make any progress in my towers? The only progress I made this time around was getting to tower 20, though I am a bit off of clearing this. It really does just come down to Byakuya and the like are just too weak for me. I would really like a slash tactics character. As far as a slash tactics character goes, who would we even get, though? Right? Like, if we were to get a slash tactic character from the ones that we kind of know are loitering, Okiata would be really cool. That's the way Ichigo would also be really cool. I know people were like, oh, those characters have to be DPSs. I'm not gonna lie, gang. At this point, the current, like, the way the meta, quote unquote, shakes out, the way the idea of the game, the idealized version of the game where we actually take into account who are the strongest characters. If you have a favorite character in Bleach that you want in Bleach Soul Resonance, like, no shit, don't you just want them to be a tactics character? Like, I'm not wrong for saying that, right? You can, like, if you've made it to this point in the video, first of all, I would appreciate you if you liked and subscribed. But secondly, if you've made it to this point in the video, your favorite character being a tactics character is the best case scenario, right? Like, it has to be, because Kenpachi isn't as good as Nelliel. He's really good, and Gin isn't as good as Aizen, and Gin is really good. But if you, like, put all of these characters at dupe 6, aren't Nelliel and Aizen still the best characters in the game? I don't know. I mean, I can't speak for dupe 6 because obviously I am a free-to-play player, but yeah, that is the thing that is currently holding me back. I could probably put a little bit more into Byakuya. I do have his dupe, so maybe that would help me clear. But for now, we are a ways away from doing that. Let me see. Yeah, 2,000. I mean, I gave him nothing. It's not his fault, guys. I'll admit it. It's not his fault. It's, I've given him essentially nothing. I just figured that at some point he'd be replaced, but he's holding on. He is holding on. So maybe it is time I splurge on the boy. One thing I'll suspect is that if you decide to pull for Mayuri in the next, like, wave of content, if you decide to pull for Mayuri, I believe it'll be so easy to just gear him, much in the same way that it's easy to gear Kisuke Yudahara, that this will be a great time to start building other characters that you've sort of left behind. Like, for me, one of the things I've been really trying to work on is getting this piece upgraded for her. I do think it's fine. I would have liked an attack percent stat here, and this one again is also just, like, kind of whatever. But getting a crit rate, like a strike damage, crit rate, attack, and crit damage like I do here, but maybe like attack percent, would be my ideal. And that's what I've really been doing with my stamina. If you're wondering, like, well, what are you spending your stamina on? I do think crit damage could be the actual play for this character, because the more boundaries and dupes and stuff you get in her, the more that her crit rate is handled by her other pieces. So I could imagine that at some point we see that crit rate is actually not, or crit damage is not too bad as the main stat here. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe it's something I have to go to like the character builder, the actual, you know, what is it? The website that someone made to actually compare gear. It might be something I go to that for. I do want to replace this piece as well. This piece I was like literally the beginning of the game. This actually has like nothing to do with this character and everything to do with when the game first started. I just need to get gear on someone so I could complete the story. But yeah, maybe that'll be something to look into, right? Because 40% here, but you're getting a lot from your stacks of lightning seal, which are increased to 8, which I assume counts, but maybe I'm crazy. Maybe it still stays at 24%. I mean, even if it does, you know, up 24% puts me at 64%. So she is the character I've been working on the most, probably. I have also been considering working on Toshido, but more than anything, it seems that I'm being walled by Byakuya not assisting in my slash trial damage. So that is where my account is overall. That is what I've been up to. You can see, let's just take a quick look. It looks like I'm top 77 in the weekly. In the weekly here, with 92,000 points in total. Let's give it a look. Ooh, look at the boy. And we've got Nelliels all around me, dude. Look at this string of Nelliels. And where am I at in the solo co-op campaign? It shouldn't be too much, yeah. So 43% in team. It was literally just me by myself. I was like, whatever, let's get this going. And top 8.2% in solos. A step down from the Runungaga, whatever his name is, the big sand golem guy, right? I mean, Yamilagro is much easier to just hit, so it makes sense that the scores are sort of inflated. But I remember doing like 500 million to him, so maybe I just like fumbled the execution. That's probably really what happened. But yeah, that's where the account is. The big change this time around was just getting all of this stuff done. Don't forget that this is here. I mean, it's like 700 Jade. You don't want to miss it. Like, it's meaningful. You know, it's half a multi. No, it's not literally half a multi, but it's almost half a multi, right? So, yeah, I do at present, I do see myself trying to pull for Mayuri, but we'll have to see how that goes, because obviously we are hurting on our resources. So I do want to have that video up, though. I do like to have, you know, videos of me playing for these characters. You know, I'm still free to play. One thing I was considering doing is going on the monthly, just so I could continue to make content for the game in a pretty orderly fashion. And also $5 a month is not the most insane thing in the world, right? So we'll have to see what I decide to do there, right? It's not like, you know, $5 a month is like so impossible as a, you know, oh my god, how could you call yourself free to play? But we'll have to see. Maybe I'll put up a poll of like, hey, would you guys mind this? Because, you know, there is sort of like this thing where this channel is giving me a little bump in currency, right? It's giving me a little bump in you know, in like money, you know, a few some odd dollars a month, right? So if I give $5 of those dollars to the thing that is essentially providing that, which is Bleach Soul Resonance, is that like is that a major offense? I don't know. I do it with Dokkan, and I still consider myself pretty free. Like, I when I say like free to plays, I consider myself free to play when I play Dokkan, and I give them $10 a month, right? So I do wonder if maybe that's something I should look into. Maybe I'll do like a poll or something on the community post, just to see how people are feeling with that. So yeah, but the next thing we'll do is probably summons. I don't know how well the summons will go. I don't know if we'll be there long or if we may not pull it all. I don't know, but yeah, see you tomorrow, I guess. Like, if you liked the video, subscribe, join the club. We all go make it, and peace.